Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. As the government shutdown and the immigration and border wall debate roiling alongside of it continue to preoccupy Washington, there's more and more of a demand to know what the facts are. And our guest this morning, I think, is going to help all of us sort that out. She is Jessica Vaughan, Director of Policy Studies for the Center for Immigration Studies, a Washington, D.C.-based think tank. And Jessica, first of all, welcome.
Thank you, John.
Right off the top, we often in the media will say, oh, this is a right-wing think tank or a left-wing think tank. Why don't you explain what the Center for Immigration Studies is and sort of where you're coming from?
Okay. We are a nonpartisan research institute based in Washington, D.C., and we have both conservatives and liberals working for us. Our board and our staff are made up of a diverse group of people with different views. People come at the immigration issue from different perspectives.
I think the website describes you as pro-immigrant, but for low immigration.
Right. The one thing that does unite us is that we have, our research has led us to believe that current immigration levels are too high, and that we have too much illegal immigration in particular, and that we need to find immigration policies that better serve the national interest and that avoid disadvantaging the people who are harmed by the policies that we have today.
Okay. Well, one of the key claims that the Trump administration has been making recently, and it's stirred up a lot of controversy, is that thousands of suspected terrorists have been trying to cross the southern border over the past year or so. Now, there are news reports claiming that number is actually closer to 20. Secretary Nielsen, the Homeland Security Secretary, claimed there were thousands of special interest aliens, which allegedly include terrorists. But your colleague Todd Bensman, a former Homeland Security intelligence officer on the CIS website, debunked those claims largely and called the administration's spin, quote, a complete conflation-ridden public messaging mess, end quote. Do you agree with Todd?
Yes, I think they really did botch the expression of those numbers. I mean, it's true that we need to be concerned about terrorists taking advantage of our vulnerabilities at the border. And there have been some terrorists caught trying to enter the country illegally, and there have been terrorists caught inside our country illegally.
The original World Trade Center bomber.
Well, he was an asylum applicant. The mastermind of it.
Okay.
Another one of the participants had gotten amnesty in 1986.
Right.
But there are some, what Secretary Nielsen was saying was that we had detected thousands of suspected terrorists trying to enter at all types of ports of entry. We didn't necessarily link them to terrorism. We had concerns about them. They were not actual terrorists on a mission.
Right.
We don't think. We certainly hope not. It's not. The numbers are not that large. That's the important thing.
Okay.
Is that there are a lot of people we have concerns about, but they aren't all streaming over the southern border as part of the caravan.
Well, clearly the political intent of that misinformation was to motivate demand for the border wall. Now, when I interviewed you about the wall during the campaign in 2016, you called it, quote, more of a slogan than a policy idea, an idea presented in a cartoonish way. You can't fence the entire border, you said. A fence is very effective where it can be patrolled, but in other areas, it's a complete waste of money, end quote. Do you still feel the same way?
I do feel the same way. I do think that we need better barriers in certain places. I mean, the images of the people in the caravan trying to go through and over these obsolete landing mats that they used for fencing back in the 1990s, that's got to be changed. But there is an upgraded, but we certainly don't need barriers across the whole border. There are better ways, more bang for the buck we can get for taxpayer dollars.
All right, let's continue this conversation in a moment. We're talking about in the immigration debate, facts and fiction, with Jessica Vaughan of the Center for Immigration Studies, and we'll continue in a moment. Stay with us.